for masturbating in the restroom, something I do not do.
We're too busy watching what you're doing to hear what you're saying.
They're demonic spirits that come to defile you in the night.
This woman obviously had lost her damn mind.
You're a winner, man. You're the real deal. You're picking up chicks.
Stripping down butt naked.
Oh, my man, Melinda Brown Duckett, baby.
All you could see was cellulite hanging in pubic hair.
Chickens down everyday people at churches, Popeyes, and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
He assaulted me with a chicken. Hold up, wait a minute. Show that back.
If he were habitual homosexuals, then by all means.
Your high school game of the week. Catch that here tonight, 7 o'clock here.
David Fry. And the magical 2024 season is not done by any means. Cleveland with a 7-5 10th inning win.
Walk-off style, courtesy of David Fry. Obviously, Tom Hamilton there, courtesy of the Cleveland Guardians radio network. And it reminds me of a conversation you and I once upon a time had in this studio. People debated it with me, and I think this morning I would win it. As I am a bigger NFL fan than I am Major League Baseball fan, I've said it only 10 million times, there's zero chance I'll be able to walk it back now. But I have said, and we have had this conversation, that the walk-off home run is more impressive and bigger and a better view than the Hail Mary in pro sports. I think, give me the walk-off. And I think this morning, given the fact that one happened and the Guardians now win a game in the ALCS, I think people would agree with that assessment. The text line's open 330-450-7625. I'm on your socials too. The Stansbury Show, microphone talkback button on iHeartRadio when you listen that way. Yeah, that's out there for you as well. We'll get into the ALCS more than a few times. The Cleveland Browns moving out of downtown to Brook Park with absolutely no good news in sight for them whatsoever. Also, the Rock and Roll Hall inductions in Cleveland this weekend. We got plenty to get into today, so let's get started next year on Rock 106.9.
The Stansbury Show. I just thought you were a dumb freeloader who ate all my food and played video games all day. On Rock 106.9.
It's Jackson and McKinley tonight, 7 o'clock here on Rock 106.9. On the call, Sam Berkman. He presented by Benders and Maslin, so we'll sit down and talk to him 9 a.m. this morning. Get a look ahead of Jackson and Maslin there, and McKinley there, sorry. And also the Browns on the move. ALCS. And so I'm going to make a few mental errors today, more than usual even, because of the ALCS, because there were some dramatics in that game. And you think that why I'm going to make some mental mistakes because of the ALCS last night is because I stayed awake too long to watch it. It's not actually what happened. This great thing that happened, this awesome moment, instant classic, as it was called on a text message on my very phone this morning. I didn't see it. All right, here's what happened. Leave me alone about it. All right, so here's the thing. I set out to see it, and I was laying on the couch. I was sitting on the couch, and I was watching it. And it was looking like it was going to be another Yanks game. I mean, it just kind of had that feel. It just did. And I was like, well, I'm watching it. You know, I'm not giving up. But it started to get to that point where I was like, it's a little cold in here. A little cold in here. All right, we'll go get the couch blanket out of the bedroom. That's what we'll do. And I'll go get that. I brought a blanket into the living room. That was probably strike one for me right there, right? And so then I lay down now to watch the game. Strike two. Right. Strike two. And then there might have been a vape pen incident that happened right there at that moment. And so here's the thing. I actually didn't even see the Noel home. I didn't see this happen.
5-3 Yankees. Runner at second, 2 down, 9th inning, and the 1-0 pitch. Swung out and hammered. High, deep to left.
Missed it.
Away.
Never saw it. I didn't see that happen. And so, then I definitely did not see this happen.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to left. There she goes.
He's just the best, man. Every time I hear him, it makes me want to quit my job. He's just too good. How about it?
A walk-off, 2-run home run to the bleachers in left by David Fry. And the magical 2024 season is not done by any means. Cleveland with a 7-5 10th inning win
over the Yankees there at home after missing. Yeah, never saw it. Fell asleep before it happened. Passed out. Passed out before it happened. I wake up on the couch. It's now 2:10 in the morning. And I flip over my cell phone, and there's 100 text messages. Oh my God, did you see that? Amazing. Oh my God. Just from everybody I know. People going had to wake up and be like, damn it! Like I didn't even get to see it. Just passed out like your grandpa at Thanksgiving. Just never got to see it. That was a little bit of a bummer. It was a nice surprise to wake up to. But I think I may have exaggerated. I think it was like 1:45 when I woke up or something. So I've been up since 1:45 this morning. So now I want to go to bed right now, just as we're getting started. But like that was that's awesome for the Guardsmen. I'm very happy. There's been a lot of conversation, and including on this show, about house money with the Guardians, and we again that term pretty much like kind of lucky to be there. Not really a whole lot of expectations. So if you don't really get much done, it's like you're fine, kind of playing with house money, right? And a lot of people felt that way going into the Tigers series, and I kept saying over and over again, no, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. This seems pretty good. I felt like going into this season, the expectations should have been a little higher than they were. I felt like I understood the whole we're losing Tito, that's going to be a gut punch. I understood it and agreed with it. I felt like some people went a little overboard on what that gut punch would lead to. Right? And so I felt like, no, they should beat the Tigers. Like, let's beat the Tigers. Now this second series, there was like a house money feel. Then you go down 0-2, and it's like, okay. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody in the building yesterday. They said, even if they get swept, you got to look at the season as a success. I was like, all right. I was like, I get why you think that. I was like, I don't. I was like, sweeps should always be avoided, no matter what. So now you got the series back home. You won one here. So I feel like now officially, no matter what happens, the remainder of this series, this is a very successful Cleveland Guardians. All you've heard about, if you've been watching any of it, is that the 3 of the 4 teams left, we would be one of the Guards would be one of the 4. 3 of the 4 teams, guess what? Yeah, you guessed it. Highest payrolls in baseball. What does the Guardians have? I don't even know the number. It's just, they won't even tell you while you're watching the team. They won't even tell you. I know this, it ain't one of the top 3. But the other 3 of the 4, that's what they got. And here's this scrappy group of tryhards, managed by a guy everybody was like, oh my God, never done it, we're gonna suck. And here they are in the ALCS. And they give you theatrics like that. All the while, the sport everybody loves so much, including me, across the street, looks like, literally, it's like you're clapping for your kid when you know it's like, oh, honey, I mean, I get it, dude, but he better start reading books because this kid sucks at this.
The Stansberry Show. Okay. Someone woke up on their own said that this.
He went in that year. Metallica was the big one. So I like the fact that that's back in Cleveland. And they got a real big artist going in this year. We'll talk about that a little bit. It's been 8 a.m. on that. Obviously, we're talking about some Guards. That game, the theatrics last night, unbelievable. I admitted, didn't get to see it. I set out to see it. Started watching it. And the next thing you know, I fell asleep on the couch. Woke up at like 1:45. It was like, oh, look at that, they won. Like, they won. I've been up since. I was unable to get back to bed. Like now, after work, I normally don't, but at around 8 o'clock I am. So they'll probably lose by 10. Yeah, I mean, sorry about that. But I am excited about the ALCS. And it's nice to have a little bit of a bright spot, with sports right now. It's nice to have something to hold on to. October baseball is special, man. It can pull you right in. Like, it'll pull you right in and make you like a diehard fan. There's a lot of games in the regular season. I was thinking about it yesterday. It's like, a lot of people talk about shortening it to create the urgency of the games and, make every game matter a little bit more. It's like, well, it's like 162. It's like, well, where's the cutoff? 150? I mean, that doesn't seem like enough. 140? I mean, I started thinking, I was like 120 last night. I started thinking, I was like, all right, could they do that maybe if people are hell-bent on, and I'm not saying you got to do it. I'm saying if people are hell-bent on erasing games or deleting them off the schedule, 120 maybe? I don't know where you go. I don't know what the right number would be, but October baseball, man, you can barely take your eyes off now.
God fucking damn it. You gotta fucking get us no matter goddamn what, aren't you? What, they made it past that? Well, let's start another one.
Sleep there a little bit. But, the season does get a little long throughout the year. I remember we were talking about this, I think it was last season. I think the walk-off home run is more impressive and a bigger thing than the Hail Mary in football. I'm a bigger football fan. These days it's getting tougher. Looking at you, four. But, you know, it's getting a little tougher. You know, no reason to lie about that. But I think the walk-off is more impressive. I do. I think it's one of those moments. Sports comes down, fandom, at least for me partially, comes down to that moment. I mean, there you are last night, extra innings now, you know, and it's me versus you. Everybody in the park knows. We all know. There's only two people really in this whole situation that matter. The guy throwing the ball and me, you know, holding this toothpick back here as you throw this thing at 100 miles per hour, you know, in the vicinity of my head, and I'm going to swing this thing. It's me versus you. And, like, in a world full of, like, performance anxiety and, like, having to have your parents walk you into the office for your first big job interview, or, you know, I need my emotional support animal to fly to Phoenix. There that dude is, 60,000 people, millions watching, me versus you, step up in the moment, toxic masculinity, here comes the swing, out of the park. I mean, it's amazing. For me, I live in the world of highlights. I mean, I've been playing it for, I mean, here it is right here, courtesy of the Cleveland Guards Radio Network.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to left, there she goes! How about that? A walk-off, two-run home run to the bleachers in left. Life not done.
How sweet is that? A lot of people, again, have been talking about the house money thing. You know, just kind of lucky to be there. Weren't really supposed to be. They kind of overachieved, essentially, is what that word means. You know, term, rather. And, you know, we talked about that with the Tiger series and this and that. And some of you don't even like that with the Yankees. You're like, normally I would agree with you. And if this were any other team, yes. But it's the Yankees, Stansbury. You got to stay bear down. They got to get back in this, claw their way back in, and then win this series. Yeah, I'd love to see it. And I said, I think, you know, the Yankees are one of those teams where it's the Yankee fans like them and nobody else. So I think most people around the American League, baseball fans who are like not casuals, but like, man, I'm watching baseball if it's on the TV. I'm telling you, I think they're all in on the Guards and rooting for them. Because now what motivates me to say that is just, I'm speculating on the sense that, you know, the Yankees have played spoiler for a lot of franchises out there, right? Like, they are that big brother team for a lot of franchises, and all of a sudden, man, they just got punched in their mouth last night. That was fantastic. Now, across the town, we're in the middle of football season here. Should be talking a lot about that, but apparently the team's on the move again. Yeah, we got to talk about that next here on the Stansbury Show.
The Stansbury Show.
If your brains were made of dynamite, you couldn't blow your nose.
On Rock 106.9.
9 a.m., rock the bank with me. Pick up that first $1,000 keyword to head into your weekend with. And then stick around, because I'll be joined by Sam Berkowitz, your voice of high school football, Jackson and McKinley tonight, 7 o'clock here on Rock 106.9. Sam, presented by the Vendors of Maslin. We'll talk to him at 9. Can't wait. We'll look at that Guards game with him, too. And this. The announcement yesterday, the Cleveland Browns moving to Brook Park. I'm pulling from Cleveland19.com here. The team's lease at Huntington Bank Field not up until the, looks like 2028. Now we're going to build a state-of-the-art facility in Brook Park. State-of-the-art in Brook Park in the same sense as this is insane work, but okay, fair enough. They say that, I believe, the second time the team's left the city in 78 years. D and Jimmy Haslam obviously put out a pretty lengthy statement. And it is. It's like 4 or 5 scrolls down. Jeez. It kind of feels like you're trying to justify some of this here. Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb. I am deeply disappointed, he had said in a press conference. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard there. I don't know what he's supposed to say. Good riddance, right? Like, I mean, that's not what he was going to say, of course. And he should should be concerned about what this will mean for him and, what it will mean for the city and the like. There will be, ups and downs with that. It's hard to even think about the city and the taxes and who gets, it's almost hard to think about it. This should be like a happy thing. And there would always be that conversation. But there should be the, man, look at things. They're on the up. You know what I mean? Got a playoff roster. Coach is pretty good. Seems like the GM kind of knows how to work the money and the contracts around. Team's playing pretty good. Yeah, man. Build a new stadium. Mall around it. New restaurants. Feeling good. Now, a lot of that is true. Except for the team being good. So it's hard to get, ramped up about it. I'm excited. But begrudgingly. You know what I mean? I drank haterade on it. I can't lie, I did. I want to be happy. And secretly, deep down I am. I'm like, all right, it is cool. And I understand the benefits. I'll get there. I don't want to clap for it today. I don't. Get competitive before you want me to get excited about where I'm going to go see it. Now, I understand what they did here. I always talk about this, right? Perspective. How do you want to view something? And I think we can use this situation right here to kind of prove this. Because I'm selling it right now as, how dare you do this right now? Look at what's going on. Look at what is going on. You have been urinating down your leg this entire season without an inch of light at the end of this tunnel. And you choose now, a few days before a divisional matchup with a team that, a little dysfunctional this season, but the quarterback's still pretty good, as the time to tell us, all right, pack your bags, kids. We're going to the burbs. Seems like a crazy time to do that. Or flip the coin over. Well, they got nothing else. We haven't even told them that Chubb's coming back, but probably going to be limited in the return. We haven't even told them that part yet. It's going to be a thing. And so, now that's good. So now all of a sudden, let's give them something to be excited. I've said I've been turned all the way around on the dome. It's not the dome. It's not that this is the AFC North. You play in the cold. What are you, sissy? It's not that. I was that guy forever. I hit the point now. I also said me living here changes my opinion on it too. The hour ride changes a lot. It does, man. It's like you got to be pretty good, and I'm not sure I want to freeze my balls off out there, after an hour ride. Sorry. I got to be honest with you. So selfishly, I kind of like the dome. If they do it, they talk about it in here a little bit, retractable. Do you do that? Do you not do it? I think if you build one now and you don't do that, it's almost like, well, why? We know it's out there to be had, the option. It's like, well, more money. Okay. Plenty of money is going to be wasted in this thing. And plenty of money is going to get stolen, and the right people are going to get to line their behind. And it'll be more versatile than retract the roof. That's kind of that's where I come down on that. But I want to watch things in a more comfortable environment. It happened. I know. I was that guy forever. Screaming about how, this is football and you don't do this. And I think there are very few NFL stadiums that you can't put a dome on. I'm struggling really with a stadium not named Lambeau, where it's like you can't do that. You can sell me on Arrowhead, but only because they're really good right now. That's the only reason. If the Chiefs were like just the Chiefs, I'd be like, who cares? Put a dome on it, for crying out loud. They'll eat their barbecue and be fine with it. Trust me, right? And that's where I'd be with that. Lambeau's the one where it's like, bro, what are you doing? You cannot do that. Bro, they can see you, man, right? That's not, you can't do that to Lambeau. It's just, that feels sacrilegious. There hasn't even been enough, people say, you can't do a dome in Cleveland. Why not? You tell me the big moment that has happened there. You tell me the big thing you got where it's like, man, remember this, remember that? No, there is no you remember nothing. We were opening goddamn fridges because they weren't winning games. I mean, good Lord. You know what I mean? I want to be excited about this today, and I am, but I refuse to give it to him today. I do. People are selling me on all the other things, the Final Four and all that. You're right. You're right. There's no argument. from me here. That's what I'm upset about today, is that I have to celebrate all of the other things now I will go up there and do. Because I have zero faith I'm going to want to go to a Cleveland Browns game up there. I know. Oh, I will. I know. And everybody's going to think you have the audio, and next season or whenever not next season, clearly, at the, when they build it, you're going to be able to play it for me. Remember when he said, I know. I'll want to go to the very first game. I was there. They opened it. It's on my story. Go check it out now. These Stansbury Show, right? Like, I'll be that guy. I want to do all that. Hopefully I'll be able to get my, my fat ass in there and be able to do that. But this morning I'm like, nah, I don't want to. Like I told you, I drank Gatorade on it. I saw it yesterday and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Are they not aware that there's a baseball game later that we're excited about? Why do you got to ruin Sundays? Why do you got to try to ruin this? I just keep it to yourself, for crying out loud. Just enough. You haven't earned the right to be bothering me with more things. It's obviously an exciting thing. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough thing for the city of Cleveland. There's a lot to talk about that with the taxes and the money and, who goes where and the restaurants and all of that. But they were always leaving. It was obvious by the conversations we were hearing. I said, the day Andrew Berry was asked about it, the general manager of the team, and he said, I prefer a dome. I came in here and I said, that's it. He just told you they're leaving. You always think you know everything. No, I just think I know who to listen to. A fan can feel how he wants to feel. The local restaurant guy can feel how he wants to feel. A player, Miles, can feel how he wants to feel. A general manager isn't going to tell you what his preference is unless he knows that's what his boss is okay with him saying. Right? Right. So as soon as he said that, it was like, oh, they're leaving. It's a foregone conclusion. This is done. Wrapped up in a bow, on the move. And I love it. I want a dome. If I'm going to drive up there the rest of my life until I have this heart attack and die 20 years before I should, if that's what's going to happen, and they're going to lose by 21 every time I go, then at least, you know what? Yeah, I did put a roof over my head, make it a little bit comfortable, because I got to tell you, dude, I got an 80-incher hanging off my living room wall, and it looks pretty good. So if you want to seduce me up there, yeah, soft seats and, weather control, and I'm not freezing, yeah, I think that's a good way to get me up there again.
The Stansbury Show.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, sir.
On Rock 106.9.
We were talking a little bit about the, the move. Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Hightailing it out of Cleveland. And the dome. Like, okay. There's a guy who listens to the show quite a bit. Daily. And we'll thank him for that. And he doesn't care about football at all. As a matter of fact, if you were to ask him, he would say if he would stop talking about football, that would be my favorite thing ever. But he doesn't care about the sport at all. And he can't wait for the Browns to head out of there. And it's not because he's like, football, and I don't like it, and it shouldn't be. It's not that. It's he doesn't like where the stadium is because of the view it blocks, the water. Like, come on, man. We're going to put this monstrosity right in the way of this? Valid opinion. I don't mind it as much. Which is a shocking opinion for me to have because of how much, you don't know this about me, but how much I like to sit and stare at a body of water. And it cannot be denied that does get in the way of you being able to do that. I think it's one of the reasons also why the Cleveland Browns want to leave the current site. Because it hasn't been built up enough around it. And they're looking for more activity. And by they mean really ultimately at the end of the day, you and I are looking for a little bit more of that, I would imagine. It doesn't necessarily bother me with the blocking of the lake and all of that. There are a lot of people of that view. A lot of people have that opinion who are like, you know what? Good. Let's do something else with it. I like that theory. My problem is just a couple of seconds ago, we talked about how, what I'm saying is I'm less optimistic that when they tear the stadium down, that there's going to be this great improvement for it. Now, some people would say, actually, don't build anything else. Just put some dirt, some grass in there, just, give the world another park and we're good. All right. Okay, let's hope. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard. My guess is they're probably going to try to capitalize on the real estate. Real estate in front of water is normally pretty valuable. So, like, letting you walk around with the German Shepherd, I don't know about it. That doesn't sound like greedy politicians to me, but we shall see. We shall see. Then there's just the dome issue, right? Got some opinionated people on the text line that at 330-450-7625. Ryan, stands. Come on, man. Come on, man. We're doming it. I don't know. I don't love it. It's just, Lambeau can't be the only one left. Well, it's not the only one left. I was just making the point that it's the only one that I can think of right now, top of my head, where I say to myself, you can't. Because I think the Vikings kind of prove I'm right. Once upon a time, people were saying that about Minnesota. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You can't do that. Well, I mean, they did, though. Lambeau feels like a cathedral. It's not just a place you go watch football games. It isn't. It's different. There's something different about it. I hope they never change it. I hope they never, I mean, I know obviously, an update here or there, probably a Wi-Fi adapter or something, right? I get it. But I hope they never, don't mess with that. It's its own thing. It's Americana. Route 66. There's something about, it's one of those things. You just don't do it. And I don't even care about the Packers. I don't. I mean, I don't hate them or anything, but I don't care about them in any special way. But that one feels just a little bit different. A lot of people are on my text line talking about the advantage of, cold weather team, and now you come from this warm weather and you got to come play here. And I think that's becoming less and less an advantage in pro sports than it used to be. I think transfer portals and stuff like that in college sports, guys are moving around, playing in different environments in ways that they weren't before. I think that's going to change that over time. As one of the articles I pulled from here was Cleveland19.com, that we were talking about the move. Mark Schwab, a guy I used to work with, a guy I like a lot. He's quoted in this article, as a matter of fact, kind of talking about how he's not sure that matters as much as it used to either. He mentioned, the Saints, and they're a dome team. They came up here to play in the cold, and then it's I think that those things probably still matter. It's not that they don't matter at all anymore. People can get a little hyperbolic with the language. I won't go that far. I think they matter less than they used to. And a step further than that is, I think any advantage like that helps a team that's pretty damn good as it is. Now, I guess what you're going to do is prepare for you to be good at some point. It's going to be tough. I just have always felt like that traffic situation over at Brook Park's not necessarily great. What I don't know about those careers, you could literally fill the Grand Canyon with. So I'll stay, I'll stay out of it, I suppose. But I am a little interested to see how that one shakes out. Mostly, like I said, to me, it just feels like a little bit of a bummer that I can't be excited about it. Excuse me. It should be such a happy morning, right? Guards claw their way back into the series. They win that game last night. Dramatic fashion, walk-off. The Browns, in the middle of this season, we should be good. We should be at least, competitive. You could build a new stadium in here, my backyard, and make an announcement. We've been talking about time. This conversation has been opened up on it. I just got to talking about it, and Brandon is taking me to task here on the text line, and he found a way to maybe turn me around yet again. More personality. This, and there's already so much of with the visually that when they don't just look like the same thing over and over again. I hear it. I think it matters more when you're driving through the city looking at it than you and I are sitting on the couch watching it come back from commercial break, Minneapolis, all of a sudden, hey, look, it looks like all the other ones. You know what I mean? But in the city, driving back and forth and something to look at all the time, there is an argument. And I do like when things look like they're different. Personality is a word I've used too often already in the conversation. But that's Brandon, you found a way to make me go, damn it. I don't know if it's a good enough reason for me to be like, all right, freeze it cold, you're right. I don't know about that. But I gotta be honest. I'm a rabid sports fan, Sunday ticket purchaser, viewer, go to a couple of games of all sports, every season. I'm not sure the Browns are like, that's the guy we got to make sure we have this point moving forward. Right? They want me. Like, he's gonna die, right? I mean, he's been coming here yelling about this stuff all his life. And that we care about his ass, and then shipped him out and back into the parking lot again. This guy's gonna die anytime now. So, like, fill the cup up. I don't think people care about that as much as they used to. If we did, we would see less uniformity in neighborhoods, in buildings, in strip malls, in that kind of thing. It's a good argument for me. And as the guy who mentioned Route 66 and Americana, that was a good way to try to get me back on that. I'll say this, Lambeau and Arrowhead do have that visual where it feels like personality. I don't know if what is now Huntington Bank Field, downtown where the Browns play, I don't know if I see that in there. It might just be about being where you're from and you always hate your little brother and like that. It could be about that. I don't even, like Pittsburgh Stadium even visually. Like when you drive through that city, it's like, oh, it kind of looks like something. And you're right. If you put a dome on that, is it going to look different? Like Vegas has a dome, and outside of it, it does. Now that's a unique situation with Vegas because it is domed. It does look new, corporate, all of that, like a Roomba, and yet it's kind of awesome though. Like it is. I was out there when Madden had passed, and that whole wall on the side of that thing was just a huge mural of Madden. That was cool. That's great. It looks pretty great. And I never until I got to be honest with you, it's one of those things where selfishly I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable, and I think a lot of people do too. And when you look at like the event, late college football games, bowl games, now all of a sudden you're talking Final Four stuff. A lot of things can happen. And it seems as if they put this stuff in Burke Park, I'm going to get more cool stuff.
The Stansberry Show.
I just want to say I listen to your show all the time, and I really, really hate you.
On Rock 106.9.
9 a.m. this morning, sit down and talk to the voice of high school football, Sam Berkeley. Jackson and McKinley. That's your game of the week. Tonight, 7 o'clock here on Rock 106.9. Sammy, presented by Benders and Massey. And we'll find out what he thinks about the Browns hightailing it out of Cleveland. His reaction to the ALCS. And also a look ahead at your high school game of the week, that at 9 a.m. So we were talking about the Browns heading out of Cleveland, and I said, look, that was it's a story or a situation that I've been turned around. Meaning I was like,